NBs and everyone else. Let's talk about binding. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick one because number one, I am in pain, and number two, I have a pot noodle brewing in the other room, so I kind of want to get this binder off before I eat that because it's warm. Too warm for this. So many people bind for many reasons before anybody gets in a tizzy about me being non-binary, because apparently some of you don't like that. But some people bind for comfort, some people bind for practicality, some people bind so they can actually buy clothes quite easily. Those with larger chests may struggle with conventional sizing. I'm kind of one of those. So these make my clothes fit better. So this is my binder. I got it for free because I am unusually tiny and somebody was just giving it away and I was the only person that it would fit. So thank you. Binding with chronic pain. So I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It is a connective tissue disorder which results in hypermobility of all sorts. I do not know my type yet, which is why I don't make more EDS videos, because it's still kind of in EDS limbo, which is ironic because EDS makes us limbo champions in more ways than one, it would seem. So alongside all of the normal, usual, safe binding tips, I have some of my own for if you also have chronic pain, specifically if you have EDS. And because this video has absolutely no chance of ever being monetized ever, we're just gonna say it. Nipples. Right, now I've got that out of the way. The position of your chest, your breasts, your nipples, whatever you want to call it, some people have different names for it, it is important that they are up, like front and center, kind of. Because when you bind with them pointing down, you are more risk of actually damaging the tissue underneath, which if top surgery is in your list of goals, that will affect the results of it. So if you can, try and bind front and centre. So mine are kind of a bit everywhere. There's a small bit of overspill because I have put on some weight since I was given this, but it does still fit quite comfortably. So yeah, just making sure that your chest is in the right position. It might not be the flattest result, but it's the healthiest. Second of all, the conventional advice is not to bind for more than 8 hours at a time. I cannot go 8 hours without my ribs kicking off at me because I have a side condition called costochondritis. Turn the captions on for the spelling of that. Costochondritis. There we go. And it's basically just sort of inflammation of the ribs and chronic pain of the ribs. So any sort of touching of my ribs is very painful. So a binder is extra painful, and it just, with chronic pain, you don't want to be causing yourself more pain if you can help it. So I tend to bind not 8 hours. I'll never bind for a whole day. I take spare shirts with me, I take spare bras or sports bras with me if I'm going to wear a binder out anywhere, because I just can't handle binding for 8 hours. As chronically ill people, we might struggle with fatigue, and therefore we might be more inclined to, instead of sit up at a desk, we might lie down at a desk, we might take a nap in the middle of the day, we might just spend a lot of time lying down. Don't bind if you're going to be doing that, so you should never ever sleep in a binder, even if it's just for a nap. If you're just going to be lying on your back, that's more pressure on your chest because gravity and squeezing. So just, if you are going to be having a day at home, maybe assess whether you actually need to bind for that or whether you can find another way to be a bit more comfortable. For breaking in a new binder, especially when you're chronically ill, but whoever you are, don't jump in head first and go for a full 8-hour long day in a brand new crisp binder. That is going to cause pain no matter who you are. So just take it a bit at a time. At first, just try and get it on and get it off and see how your pain levels are from that. And then maybe adjust positioning and make sure it fits so that you know whether to return it or not, and then take it off. And then the next time maybe do half an hour, and then work up to an hour, and then maybe 2 hours. See how you feel. It's okay to take your time. We don't need to be jumping in and just causing more problems for ourselves. Try not to exercise in a binder if you can. And I know how uncomfortable it can be, especially with high impact exercise, but you are going to do more damage to yourself. And especially if your chronic illness or chronic pain affects your chest and your lungs, so like asthma, EDS, costochondritis, ankylosing spondylitis, I know that one. Anything that's going to make it harder for you to breathe, don't exercise in a binder. Just be very mindful of what your body is telling you. Kind of swaying a little bit from chronic pain, but my chronic illness means that I can struggle with dizziness. I faint a decent amount. I get heart palpitations sometimes. Don't worry, we're working those out. I will tell you when I know. And I struggle with temperature regulation. And if I get too hot, the heart palpitations, the fainting, the dizziness are just so much worse. These are not cooling garments. They are incredibly warm. So if you are, like me, chronically ill and struggle with temperature regulation or anything else, just be very mindful and always carry spares for if you need to just take that binder off. I would recommend getting a half binder, so this is not one of those, I don't know if you can see, but it's a long full length binder because that's just what was given to me. It's quite warm. Yeah, so either figure out how to make it shorter, if that's going to help you, or just be aware. Don't wear more than one binder, ever. That's not okay, never will be. Whether you have chronic pain or not, don't do it, it's not worth it. Don't use duct tape, don't use ACE bandages. There are organisations out there that do provide financial relief, so you can either buy a binder, or they will send you a binder, or they will contribute to a binder, or there are discount codes for people that can't afford them but need them. Check out in your local LGBT and trans groups to see if anybody has any free. Used binders are kind of not the safest way to go, but much safer than all of the other DIY options, just because they do stretch out and they conform to the person's body. So this was almost brand new when I got it. It had been worn once to try it on and it didn't fit. And I was very lucky with that, but try not to buy or acquire heavily used ones from somebody else, because it's going to have stretched to their body and how their body needs to stretch, and that won't necessarily fit with yours. Especially if you have chronic pain, because bodies are just like that. They are spiteful and petty. When putting a binder on, it is tight and difficult, so if you have shoulders that do not cooperate very well, it might be worth maybe having somebody on hand that can come and assist you if one of them pops out, if the pain becomes too much, if you get stuck. Try and do some stretches beforehand, like make sure that they are as good to go as it's possible to be. And then the same taking it off. So when I take mine off, I just sort of go over the top, but then I can also like reach and grab it over. You don't always have to lift arms all the way up if that is a problem for you, because I know plenty of people that struggle to do that. There are other binder shapes that are not over the head, but they're not as medically safe. They're a bit like using ACE bandages, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but there are companies that are developing not over the head ones, because getting stuck is just trans struggles, to be honest. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. I know it can be uncomfortable, people seeing your body. I know it's for me sometimes, but honestly, just being able to be freed from a binder when you're in too much pain to do it yourself is so important. And they can shut their eyes. Make sure it's somebody you trust, but they can shut their eyes. They're not going to judge you, hopefully, if you have the right people around you. To sum up, binding with chronic pain. Take breaks, don't bind for as long, take spares, have assistance, make sure that you understand your symptoms of your chronic illness, and get a binder that would work for you in that regard. So either like full length or short, or over the shoulder, like wrappy roundy. I don't know the word for that, I'm sorry. Not over the head. Just take it in short, sharp bursts. It's not quite like breaking in shoes. There's a bit more at stake. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. Happy Pride Month. And don't forget to like this video, drop a comment down below if you have any recommendations of other videos that talk about binding with chronic pain or just binding in general. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and ring that notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a new video. Videos go up every Saturday at 6 PM UK time with at least one bonus video every single month, apart from this month, which is Pride Month. And you're getting 2 videos each week, one on Wednesdays and one on Saturday at 6 PM. Don't know what time Wednesdays will be up. This one is Wednesdays. See ya!